Greetings, I'm Dr. Max Gomez at the 5th International Vatican Conference. What do you think is different about this Vatican Conference that makes it both unique and worthwhile?
When you're dealing with the kinds of things that we talk about at this international conference, that we're really looking totally at what's going on with people and what's going on with the world. And I think that's a very valuable exercise.
There's tremendous value because ultimately you want to understand how all these pieces of knowledge that you're taking in, how they are going to come together in some way and ultimately, be of benefit. I had the privilege of having my wife there as well one year, and she is someone who deals with chronic disease. And it was fascinating, and she's not a doctor, but it was fascinating to see it a little bit from her eyes. She was attending all these sessions and integrating information and putting it together. Ultimately, we all stand in service to our patients and trying to care for people. And a conference like this really gives us an integrative approach of lots of new medical knowledge.
Well, when we talk about health and wellness, there's so many layers to it. There's the individual layer, the kind of biology. There's the system of the family you're part of, the community, your kind of spiritual life, the system that you need to interact with when you get actually any kind of disease or illness. So having this holistic view to me is absolutely crucial if we're going to fundamentally make care better for everybody.
This conference is going to really look globally, like why we have so many healthcare inequities, why technology at this point has just made the wealthy healthier, how we put ethics at the beginning of the AI revolution, and then brings a variety of stakeholders, tech, providers, payers, ethicists, religious leaders, government, to look at non-incremental changes toward a more optimistic future. So this is really a one-of-a-kind conference.
I was educated by the Jesuits, and I was taught to always be introspective, to think about what you're doing. Part of thinking about what you're doing is context. And the context of what an individual scientist or physician is working in is defined by what other people are doing. So it's not only fun and interesting, it's really necessary that we know what other people are doing if we're going to be as effective as we possibly can be.
It's a unique conference that has an ability to make a big difference in health issues in particular because they are so complex. They depend on medical care. They depend on the circumstances in which we live. They depend on how we treat each other. And to bring together this range of perspectives and couple that with a seriousness of purpose it makes for a unique contribution. And I'm hoping as a result, we're going to see some further progress on improving health and healthcare for everyone by bringing these different perspectives together at this unique time.
A meeting like this brings together individuals that are working on different areas where you can learn from each other. And again, COVID is the perfect example. I mean, pulmonologists and infectious disease and hospitalists are all working together right now to save the lives of individuals. Institutions like ourselves will have that expertise, but we never brought it together in that way before. And at the Vatican meeting, is what this meeting does is bring people who are in regenerative medicine, hematology and oncology, infectious disease, and shares those ideas. So it's just really good to bring those different, what I call interdisciplinary approaches together.
This conference is all about collaboration. And I personally think that's how we're going to solve the world's biggest health challenges. I mean, just take COVID-19, for example. It's amazing that scientists were able to produce incredibly effective vaccines in a matter of months because they built on the existing basic knowledge of virology and vaccines that have been developed for viruses. And then they were able to translate that into new vaccines with new technologies. And now that we're all learning about the mRNA technology, at Dana-Farber, we're thinking, how can we use that technology to create cancer vaccines? So to me, it's all about collaboration and not competition. Scientists work together, they share their knowledge, and they really tear down the walls of competition in order to foster collaboration.
I love conferences that bring different dimensions of humanity together. And this Vatican conference does just that. It brings not only the science, but it brings culture it brings community, and it brings spirituality. And I think that, everything is connected together when it comes to our health. Disease conferences do tend to focus on very small pieces, but when we're talking about health, it's the totality of our humanity.
There's incredible value in the cross-fertilization you get when you have folks from many different backgrounds with many different expertises, be it science, the financial world and economics, the spiritual and religious world. When you get folks like that together and they share their views and they're all at the top of their game, you start to think out of the box a little bit about your own work, and you go home and next thing you know, you're doing experiments, in my case as a scientist, I might not have ever done before.
It's incredible the amount of people from all different walks of life that come, Nobel Prize laureates, the top people from entertainment, some of the greatest business people in the world, some of the greatest change makers in the world. And it reminds me of a quote from Robert Schuller that say, today's accomplishment were yesterday's impossibilities. And that's what I feel when I'm there. I feel that sense of can-do energy and spirit and collaboration and positivity.
The uniqueness of this conference is that it brings together the collective wisdom and capabilities of diverse stakeholders. Up to half of all diseases can be prevented with knowledge that we have in hand today, but knowledge exists within silos. And what this very special conference does is it brings together different groups, an uncommon table of policymakers, of service providers, of educators that could really bring together the collective capabilities needed to bridge the gap between knowing and doing with respect to disease prevention.
There are many things that influences the management of cancer control per se. And that's why this conference really stands out, because, it really does the intersection, and it actually, walks the talk, so to speak, because, enough of speaking to the converted, preaching to the converted all the time. We need to connect with all stakeholders that influence healthcare delivery. And it's not just oncologists or technical people, it's everybody else.
When you have people who are very different from each other, and not just different in what they know, but they have different values, not because they're right or wrong, but because as a species, we want people with different values around because they help us protect each other from things that we don't recognize. They cover our blind spots for each other. And so when you can look at our areas of interest and expertise and realize that they're ones that overlap with others, we double down, learn extra in those areas, and then we fill in huge areas. We color in our psyche with people different from us who can open our eyes to opportunities. And I think when you widen the vista of our wisdom, of our vision, by interacting with other people under the auspices of these Vatican conferences, it elevates it to a whole different level.
In large part because of the tremendous assembly of experts, not solely focused on, for example, research and development or policy or clinical activities, allows us to speak about issues that impact the entire field. And we do so with colleagues that we have the benefit of interacting with on a regular basis in an environment that is obviously inspiring, but also it catalyzes what I would best describe as free thought. And, we benefit from this conference every year.
Well, I think it's incredibly valuable. We're in a time when we're getting more and more subdivided professionally. We have specialties, we have subspecialties, we have sub-subspecialties, and we all are in our own little beehive working alone. And it's wonderful to have a structured opportunity to have a meeting of the minds where we can broaden our perspective and really get away from that quotidian concern of our own little microclimate and really think about global problems with a much broader perspective.
When you bring everyone together, and given the fact that we are whole human beings with a host of issues that work together and an extraordinary complexity, then I think one has the opportunity to kind of see the big picture and to kind of get that mile-high view, which is extremely important, and also to network and make connections.
There's nothing like this Vatican conference anywhere, literally around the world. every conference I go to is a siloed event. It's like an echo chamber. We're talking to people who we know and who agree with us. The Vatican event, drawing people from all over the world, from every discipline, from the entertainment to science to bench researchers to population health like me. There's no other venue where we could sort of get it all together. And even virtually, I think there's really nothing like it anyplace. So that's what makes it pretty special.